come over tomorrow?
How are you?
Yeah, of course, actually.
I know Nancy's always laughing with that.
How do you know who he is?
What time are you gonna be at the table?
Yeah. Why are you still here? You what?
Maybe it's March.
An attorney that retired a month ago was board member.
Good luck to you. Maybe you'll come out. Maybe you'll communicate. When you go there.
That's what he's here for.
I don't know if he was.
Jane, did you get your thing here?
Oh, should I drop that?
Somebody too.
Oh, it does something?
Yeah, where is this?
Can I see it? Yeah, what is it?
You have to look at it.
Okay. It's so funny, because I found something like that in my yard.
His mother's friend.
No, that's in your yard.
I found something like that in my yard, and I thought it was from my house.
No, this is, that's from me.
It's like the one here.
It's so funny, it's just like it. I gotta show you what I found. I was like, how did this end up here?
I don't think a lot of this.
Oh, here it is.
Yes.
And listen, Jimmy.
This is what I found.
It is.
Rio's getting on the third. Yeah.
Oh, you may have had one.
He's got new letters. He's got amendments on Instagram. And I have
Yes.
but I can take you on like you can see the meat counters.
You ever go inside Belmont?
So it's working till I go after that.
I'm watching these things on Facebook. He's got a lot of videos. Yeah, and he's like walking down the main street.
Yeah, yeah. But
What the hell I was there?
Yeah.
Walls like that.
It was like you.
Yeah.
Walk here, walk
You
here.
have free time and do nothing, like me.
Yeah.
I'll let you go.
You were there.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, me? Like, now I can go in the summer, because I stopped in May, I stopped from May to like October.
Definitely. But now,
Now.
especially during the week, life's good in the
So if
hood.
I go next, well, it's not an issue, I'm thinking I'll probably go Tuesday,
Yeah.
so I can either pick you up after work, which I don't do. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or you put it up, but I'll text you when I know that I do.
Go back to this nonsense.
Thank you.
I know about it.
There you go.
I told you, when I got married, I said, sorry, a lot of people flew through.
That's right, you're right.
You know, it's funny, like, I just thought they were down lower, like, I'm trying to, yeah, do they? I have to
You mean like spinny spin?
Spinny spin, and they go higher or lower, I don't know.
Going
I try it,
east and hitting like green forest.
I think they go higher if you go to the left.
There's a military.
Yeah, there's been military.
You go to the, yeah, that's better. Spin it to the left.
They used to put it.
They used to bomb.
Left,
But
you see right,
now it's just,
right.
yeah, it's hotels there.
Yeah, people live on it too, or not?
Yeah. It's an upscale hotel complex.
Really?
But every once in a while.
Oh, he's right there.
They find a.
Unexploded ordnance.
Just where you met these guys.
So like Sandy Hook too, every now and again they come across
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some hand grenade from World War I. Oh, that's right, Councilman Nowicki's in,
Behind it.
oh, that's right.
Maybe he's someplace exotic?
Someplace warm and sunny.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's probably what?
Yeah, we're 30 years over a month now.
Right?
No.
Oh, okay, great.
Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce the 48-hour notice was emailed to the Asbury Park Trust, the CoStar, and the new coaster on December the 18th of 2025, that a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised, public attendance for meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and a courtesy only. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption and action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person quorum. Mr. Noble?
Here.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Here.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mr. Yes. Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Here. And Councilman Nowicki is very generously joining us tonight from Cabo, isn't Councilman?
Yes, Cabo San Lucas.
Okay, there we go. So thank you for joining us. Welcome everyone here in attendance, and we do have a handful of folks on Zoom as well. We got a good full agenda, and let's dive right in. Item 5 on the agenda are workshops, and there are none. 6, presentation and bids. I've asked the head of our Office of Emergency Management, Norman Goldfarb, to give us a brief overview of the past couple of weeks' activity related to snow and storms that the borough has dealt with.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. On Sunday, February 22nd, Bradley Beach was impacted by Winter Storm Fernando. Days before the storm's landfall, we got started to prepare for its impact with discussions and review for our preparedness protocols with Mayor Gubatose, Business Administrator Dougherty, and municipal department heads. We then executed preventative measures in anticipation of the reported severe snowfall. On that same day, February 22nd, the governor of New Jersey declared a state of emergency effective at 12 p.m. During the duration of the event, the New Jersey Department of Transportation issued driving restrictions on our roadways and throughout the state. Our Department of Public Works made ready their vehicles and put together a staffing schedule for the removal of snow on our roadways and municipal properties. The snow removal was accomplished in phases during and after the snowfall. The police department activated the Bradley Beach notification system to our residents, which would continue before, during, and after that snowfall. The police department directed vehicle removal to allow snow plows to remove snow from the streets, curb to curb. During the storm, the police continued to provide normal police services at all times, including their communication center for incoming and outgoing calls on the telephone and on radio communication. The fire department and the first aid squad assembled crews at the first aid squad for immediate response to any call-out, as well as standby for possible activation of our warming station or shelter at the firehouse. The fire company purchased and prepared meals for any borough employees who were on duty during this event. The Office of Emergency Management monitored the progress and the progression of the storm. During the initial phase, OEM prepared for the storm by discussing preparedness and actions to be taken by the borough. The Emergency Operations Center was officially activated on Sunday, February 22nd at 5:15 p.m. The interdepartmental coordination was conducted, as well as notifications and coordination with outside agencies, including Monmouth County Office of Emergency Management, American Red Cross, New Jersey Department of Transportation, JCP&L, Emergency Notification System, and assistance to vulnerable population here in Bradley Beach. The Emergency Operations Center was staffed until Monday, February 23rd at 4:30 p.m. At present, the Bradley Beach Office of Emergency Management is working with the Monmouth County Office of Emergency Management and the State Office of Emergency Management Recovery Bureau by submitting all costs information to the state for possible reimbursement of expenditures by Bradley Beach for this event. The state of emergency was canceled by the governor on Wednesday, February 25th at 6 p.m.
Thank you, Norm. And Norm, a couple thoughts. One, first of all, I just want to thank you, OEM. I'm going to speak later in the meeting about the broad amount of support you had and we, the borough, had, not only from OEM, but from police, fire, first aid, and I'll get into more detail, DPW, of course. But just while you're standing here, would you mind introducing your colleagues from OEM? I think most of our residents recognize police and DPW. They don't all know you and your team, but I want to give you a chance to just quickly introduce them.
Sure, I have my two deputy coordinators here tonight who were with me during the whole event and who stayed here at the Operations Center for at least 24 hours. And that's Deputy Coordinator Pearsall, and Deputy Coordinator Dan Raddy.
And I just want to thank your team as well as the rest of our police for a wonderful job over the past couple of weeks. Okay, yes, please.
On a personal note and a professional note, I've been in this business a very long time, and I must tell you that the department heads here, specifically the chief of police, and Department of Public Works, and fire company, first aid squad, and your staff, and management here, you were fantastic. You did a great job. You should be proud of yourselves. I know the county's pretty happy with us. We've been in communication with them for days, and they're very happy with what we're doing, and we're going to continue to do that. And it's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you so much.
Well said.
Thank you. And actually, we not only have the chief of police, but our chief of police goes door to door, doors, writes tickets. We get double duty out of our chief of police. So
Delegate.
Exactly. All right, moving on to approval of minutes. I'll make a motion that we approve the February 17, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, item 8 on the agenda, public comments or questions specifically pertaining to items on this agenda. Are there public comments or questions? Ms. Meta?
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park condominiums, and I would appreciate being shown the same respect to the address I've given that is given to other people like the Bartletts, Mr. McGill, Mr. Bogano, when they just merely come here and say the name of their business. That's what I'm doing. I'm here to give my opinion, which I know you disagree with, as a body of ordinance 2026-11. I am going to state, I think it's a fact, but I'm just going to go with it's my opinion, that there's 365 days in a year, that we've been lucky for several years until this particular warning to have very little plowable snow, if any. And that perhaps this town has been inconvenienced or not functioned for maybe 7 days out of these past 2 storms, which were highly irregular because the first one had ice and the second one had volume. I understand that the borough's trying to all of a sudden comply with regulations that are beyond their control. I understand that the borough puts its, and this is all my opinion and my observations, the borough always puts its employees and its businesses prior to the residents. I observed Public Works working as hard as they could to move snow. But let's face it, it wasn't perfect. And it's hard to be perfect in that situation. However, they come around. If you're on the side that gets plowed first, good for you. If you're on the side that gets plowed second, that's usually about 12 to 18 hours after. So here's my scenario. The other side of the street gets plowed. My snow remover comes and does it when the snow stops. And then in this particular storm, I then wake up, and when I went to bed, everything was cleared. I wake up and I'm not only plowed in, I have my driveway markers broken, and now you're asking me to come out and shovel 2 sidewalks and call my snow remover again. That's not a burden that we should have to bear. Personally, I find more safety in shoveling out the sewers that are by my building, shoveling out the fire hydrant. If you're handicapped, you shouldn't be walking on the sidewalks anyways, in those little access, I don't know that they're ramps, but cutouts. So I usually come here with a solution. I confess I don't have one, but I do not think that this resolution solves anything. And again, you know, I mean, I don't know, I come from New York, we don't shovel things out. But when I come down Main Street, a county road, and I'm watching Public Works taking care of that, and I watch them come down my road and pile everything into the corner, pile everything into our driveways. And may I say, we are 2, 4, 5 votes, and this body knows the importance of each and every vote. And I urge you to not approve this particular ordinance, but work at a better solution for the problem. Thank you.
Mr. Manager, just one clarification. I think you referenced 2026-11, but I think you're describing 2026-10. 11 is just blocking the sidewalks. It was 10, that's a lot of the snow emergency measures, you said.
Perhaps I didn't understand. I interpreted 10 as to the fines and 11 is to clearing the handicap access. I don't vote down.
Just for the record, I think
You know,
meant to
however,
reference
the one that said I'm gonna be fine if I don't shovel out 2 of my corners,
10.
whatever, okay, fine.
Just
Sure, you wrote them, so to speak.
Thank
Fine.
you. Other comments or questions from the audience? Mr. Cohen?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment on the adoption items for tonight. I mean, as we deal with the resilient environmental landscape regulations as proposed by DEP, I just want to point out that this council is doing a very good job of addressing things through home rule and not through a wide brush painted across the state as to how things should go. So I'd like to comment on the ordinance that amends the driveways ordinance number 2026-18. I did have one edit in that it should not say larger driveways, curb cuts, it should say larger driveways on certain corner lots. So I would advise that, because the curb cuts are staying the same. So that shouldn't be done. But in the next one about the subgrade garages and the way it deals with groundwater infiltration, I think, you know, if there's ever any talk with the DEP in the future about how you handle home rule here, that this is a perfect example of you understanding the environmental impacts that they affect our residents and doing something about it, not waiting for the state to do something about it. So I did want to compliment you on 2026-19, and if you could just make the change on 2026-18, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. Other comments or questions from the public? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing none, we will move to item number 9 on the agenda, which are our ordinances overall, and we'll start with introductions. The introductions are new ordinances that we're sharing with the public, new ordinance amendments. There is not any open public discussion on an introduction. When we come back at a later date to adopt any or all of these, the public will then have opportunities to comment. So, starting with ordinance 2026-15, this is somewhat of a...
I'm sorry, I'm looking over your shoulder because don't we still have bond ordinance from 2014?
It has been removed.
Okay, I apologize.
No problem. I didn't know if you needed to look over.
Sorry.
No. All right. For 2026-15, this is an ordinance that would allow the borough, if needed, to exceed the municipal budget appropriations limit. The state sets municipal budget limits that are under the cap at 2%. This is a fairly standard adjustment that by ordinance, every municipality is allowed to increase that 2% to an extra 1.5% to 3.5%. And that's basically what this language is proposing. So, any comments or questions from the council? Most of these we've talked about individually, so you may have had questions earlier, but we've addressed them. I will therefore make a motion to approve the introduction of 2026-15.
Second. Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Ordinance 2026-16 is an ordinance that is referencing Chapter 1 of our General Code, and specifically, we are increasing fines in five areas. Most of them are snow-related fines for not clearing your driveway, fines for leaving a car parked on the street. The reason that we are going to vote on this and hopefully approve it is because our residents, by the way, in this last storm were great, moving cars, so it's a phenomenal result. But people who don't move cars are creating a significant health and safety risk for their fellow residents, for our emergency response individuals, police, fire, first aid. And there's only so much that the borough can do to engage our residents. You know, the communications, we had police knocking on doors, asking people to move their cars. Seeing it from the mayor's position, these employees bend over backwards to serve our residents. I think it's a great job. It's their job. It's what they should do, but they do it very well. All that said, there are people who do not move their cars. And a 20-foot long car or 18-foot long car can actually block a snowplow from hitting 200 feet, linear feet of a curb, because of the nature of the plow having to approach that car, swing out wide, go around that car, come back in. By the time they're done, we've lost 150, 200 feet of curb space. And everybody knows in Bradley Beach, curb space is very valuable. But not only that, it can create havoc, and as I said, health and safety risks. So among other initiatives underway, I have asked the council to consider increasing a handful of fines related to primarily snow removal, and or there's one, for example, that is increasing fines for people who park in the special designated parking spaces for handicapped individuals. We already have fines for handicap violators parking, but the special parking permits that we provide, the borough provides to handicapped individuals in town, that was a modest fine. We're raising that more to the level of what a regular handicap violation would be. We don't want people parking in spaces reserved for handicapped individuals. So, any comments or questions on this particular?
No, I think you had also mentioned in our discussions that it's not, the amounts that are being changed are also discussed with, I believe it was the judge. There are other legal people who are looking at the amounts, so it's not just like we're putting it up in the air.
Yeah, to your point, Councilman, there is a process. These are fines adjudicated by a judge who sits right in my seat, and the court system has to approve any adjustments that we request to be made in fines. And we have gone through the preliminary portion of that, getting preliminary approval. Should we approve this and then ultimately adopt, then we send the final version to the ultimate adjudicator in the court system, and that's the process they should approve. If they don't, then we'll have to revisit one more of these.
Also, just to point out that, you know, some of these changes really are hopefully a real disincentive. It's not across the board increases, it's just for a number of different.
Is it 5? I think it's 5.
Yeah, of many, yeah.
5 out of 250.
Exactly.
But they're important because they are real risks to health and safety, certainly the snow-related ones. So if there's no further discussion, I'll make the motion that we approve the introduction of 2026-16.
Second. Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Paul, I love the way you pause for effect.
I was hanging with bated breath. What is it going to say?
Okay, introduction for ordinance 2026-17. This is an amendment to, this is one of 3 zoning ordinance amendments we're going to present tonight. And this first one, I think of this as cleaning up an error. The bottom line is, a number of years ago, the council here approved a zoning ordinance amendment that was intended to help undersized lots. Owners in town of undersized lots are deemed to be non-compliant, conforming. And if you're a non-conforming smaller lot, by definition, if you want to do any kind of adjustment to your property, any kind of construction, renovation, by definition, because your lot is small, you have to go to the land use board. You automatically are deemed to need a variance. And a few years ago, we changed the ordinance around to say, look, if you're making changes, if you're doing a renovation on a small property, and you're staying within all the confines of our zoning ordinances, so your setbacks are good, your height is good, all the, the impervious coverage and all that, you do not have to go to the land use board, which could cost folks well over $2,000. $2,000 is just usually the amount, or $1,500 is the amount they put in escrow, but then they have to bring their professionals, could be $5,000 or $10,000. And it's just not right. So we, the council, I was part of it, we were very proud of ourselves a few years ago for making that change. What I did not appreciate until in the past week or so, an architect came to us and said, you said we could make renovations on smaller lots, and we didn't have to go to the land use board. But there's language in here. I, the architect, am remodeling, renovating the house, redesigning it, and I'm not creating any variances. But there's language here that says you also cannot increase the original footprint, and you also cannot increase the original volume of the house. So for example, if this architect wanted to expand the footprint of the house and do it within regulation, this little clause in this ordinance said you can't. You cannot expand it. And that, I know, because I was part of the team that worked on it, that was not the intention of this. It was just an oversight. So we've all had a chance one-on-one to share this and vet it. But I think what we're really doing here is just creating and correcting an oversight where the intention is not to penalize smaller property owners. They should have the same ability to make a renovation on their property, and they should be able to expand their footprint or expand the volume of their house as long as they are within all appropriate regulations with the zoning. So with that as a quick overview, any other questions or comments?
Covered it all.
Okay. Next time I'll let one of you guys do it.
Okay.
In that case, I will make a motion that we approve the introduction of 2026-17.
Second. Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, 2026-18 is the second of 3 zoning ordinance amendments. As Mr. Cohen mentioned, this is in reference to driveways, and we'll address the title in a moment. But what was identified by our land use board, and Mr. Cohen worked on this with Mr. Carr, our councilman who's also on our land use board, as well as Mr. Mayor, Dennis Mayer, who serves as the vice chair of the land use board. They came to us with this recommendation because there are on corner lot properties where oftentimes the driveways do not run down along the side of the house, but instead, if the house frontage is on a, let's say, an east-west street, the garage entrance is often on a north-south street behind the property. And because the properties are typically narrow, 50 feet or less wide, there are challenges with the angles of getting a car entering the property from the side street, getting 2 cars into a 2-car garage. So what they came to us with is this recommendation, effectively widening, allowing the widening of driveways from, normally it'd be a 10-foot, it'd be a 12-foot curb cut, 10-foot initial width, but that 10-foot width of a driveway is really challenging to get into a 2-car garage, and they're suggesting that I may be off a little bit, from the property line, you enter through the curb cut, you go through the apron, and once you hit the property line, you can widen your driveway at that point to 16 feet to get yourself 2 cars into the garage. Did I state that fairly accurately?
Yeah, actually, the driveway between the curb cut and the property line is also, instead of 10 feet, would now be 12 feet. And then you would flare out to the 16 at the property line. It would, previously they would need an ordinance, variance for their driveway width on a corner lot. Because our ordinance requires that they enter through the long street.
I have a quick question. You say the property line, so it's not the setback, it's
Well, the property line is, the right of way, which
yes.
is the town property.
Okay.
It can be, it was 10 feet, now it can be 12.
Oh, okay, even in the right of way.
The curb cut width, it doesn't change, that's still 12 feet,
Okay,
yeah.
and then when it flares out, how
And it
long?
flares out at the property line.
Got it.
And then you can park 2 cars in front of your garage.
So that's after the right of way?
That is after the right of way.
Any further comments or questions then about 2026-18 before I make a motion?
No, I think it also allows for, without taking away parking spots on the street, because the curb cuts are still the same, it allows for a much easier and more cars to actually be parked on the driveway.
Very good point. Okay.
Are there certain, I'm just wondering, are there certain 2-car garage properties on the north-south streets where the actual apron is what, is the width of the 2-car garage?
If they're, it must be pre-existing
There are other ones,
non-conforming,
yeah.
because you
Yeah, there
couldn't
are
build
some.
that now.
Right.
There's plenty of examples that are done.
They're not currently allowed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you'll adjust the title.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so first, if there's no further comment or questions, I'll make a motion that we formally change the title of this ordinance 2026-18 to change the words larger curb cuts to larger driveways. Really substitute the word driveways for curb cuts.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitezi?
Yes. And now I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-18 as amended.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitezi?
Yes. Now, the next handful of these, I know, Mr. Carp, you've been very involved in these. Would you like to?
Sure.
Take the lead?
Sure. So this is the ordinance amending Article 2, referring to subgrade garages and basements. I think the important part of this was really to promote flood resilience. We've been allowing construction, allowing these subgrade garages, which we've seen have caused flooding in the streets, as well as by the property owner with the garage, as well as the neighboring residents. So this amendment achieves a few things. One, it adds a minimum amount of vertical separation between the lowest basement floor and the documented high water ground table. So that had never been detailed before. We're also requiring a certification of the groundwater and the flood elevation for any application proposing a basement. Of course, it also disallows below-grade garages, which of course have that inherent drainage issue. And we've also gone as far to define basements and cellars, because we found that if we hadn't defined what a cellar is, people would come in and say, well, you haven't defined what a cellar is, I'm going to give you my own definition. So it was very important to be able to define what a basement is, how much of a basement is where more of the below ground is above the level and a cellar is more below. So the language in there really helps to firm up the ordinance.
Any further discussion? Comments? Would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-19.
Second?
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitezi?
Yes. Ordinance 2026-20, once again, Councilman Carp, I will turn it over to you.
So 2026-20 amends our noise ordinance, and specifically.
No, sorry. We have a new.
The revised agenda that I sent?
Oh, the revised.
The
Okay.
flip-
Oh, okay. So I'm going to go to
Waste.
Okay, right, waste. So this one is talking about how we're currently depositing debris into the streets. We all know, and we've seen that when landscapers are and homeowners are cleaning up their yards, a lot of the debris is blown into the streets. We wanted to be able to address that because the blowing of that debris, including grass, this of course doesn't include when homeowners are putting brush or leaves up on the street. This is really grass clippings or any other type of waste because it's winding up in our storm drains, which then winds up in our lakes. It builds up silt within inside of the lakes, also introduces anything that's been added to the lawn regarding fertilizers, any other adverse chemicals, and eventually goes into the lakes and the ocean. So we really needed to address the collection ordinance to be able to prohibit those actions which are harmful to our environment.
Any comments or questions? Mr. Carver, I just want to thank you for the work you've done on all of these, but this one especially. If there are no further comments or questions, would you like
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-21.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. I'm going to pause like that. All right. For the next introduction, 2026-22, once again.
21.
Oh, I'm sorry, 21. I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Clark as well.
All right. So last but not least, well, least from this was an ordinance in conjunction with the Environmental Commission about limiting the use of gas-powered leaf blowers within our town. I've had the opportunity to have many discussions individually with our council, and they raise a lot of questions. So in lieu of talking more about it, I think it may make sense to have a workshop to be able to gather some feedback from the residents. So I'd like to make a motion to table this. Ordinance 2026-21.
I'll second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. All right, we will now move to adoptions, and for each of these, I will open it up to public comment. The first ordinance adoption is 2026-9, and this is a zoning ordinance, chapter 450 zoning, specifically our affordable housing overlay zones, where we, at our last meeting, introduced the ordinance. Then it went to the land use board for a consistency review, and now we're at a point where we are ready to adopt, post any public comments. So, any questions or comments before we open it up to the public? All right, I'll make a motion that we open it up to the public.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki? Okay, Mayor Gubitosi. He gave you the head shake, we're good.
Erica? Okay, it is now open to the public for comment or questions. Okay, seeing no oh, Mr. Cohen, you still want to? Yeah. He's very shy.
Thank you, Mayor. Thomas J. Cohen, 6 Hope Third Avenue. You know, I just want to say that this has been a long time coming, and it's been a lot of hard work for our planner. Mr. Carp worked on it. Everybody's really reviewed it. Mr. Nowicki worked on it. Councilman Nowicki. I mean, everybody is really. I wish this was completed in 2025, but I'm happy it's being completed before the deadline today. But a lot of people worked on it very diligently. Fortunately, we weren't one of the New Jersey towns with a lot of open space, so we didn't have to engage in going to the Supreme Court to try to overturn the usurping of home rule from our town. But again, it was an open negotiation with the planner, Fair Share Housing, and the courts. It takes a while. It's not inexpensive to do it, but it was done correctly and will give us the protection on one side, and on the other side, it will give us the opportunity to create affordable housing in Broward Beach. So, and I think one thing that it's done is it's really raised awareness of the process. It's been an open process at the Land Use Board and here, and we want everyone to understand that, you know, we're meeting our state requirements, and hopefully we're going to get some units very soon. We lost some in the past, but you know, I don't want to be burdened by what has been. Let's just keep going. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, it bears recognizing your efforts publicly as well. I know you worked with our planner in the early phases of this, kind of identifying what overlay cells might look like. You mentioned Mr. Clark playing an instrumental role in helping us get through a lot of the details of this, especially right down to block and lot numbers in each of these 5 zones. So it really was a team effort, along with, of course, our professionals, our planner. And the great news is we have reached our settlement in round 4, and now officially tonight, once we approve this, we will be making the deadline that was imposed of March 15th. So we're getting this done a good solid week and a half to almost 2 weeks in advance. So with that said, I will make a motion that we close public comment and adopt 2026-9.
Mrs. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. 2026-10 is the amending of Chapter 9, Traffic for the borough's revised ordinances to revise temporary parking regulations during snow emergencies. And this is, in fact, cleaning up the narrative around when to move your cars for alternate side of the street parking, as well as adding greater clarity around snow removal, including removal of the snow from corner lot ADA ramps that Ms. Meadow mentioned earlier. Any comments or questions before I to the public?
I just wanted to acknowledge Ms. Meadow and her comments, and I appreciate your comments and lack of suggestions and solutions to this, because it is these were difficult storms that we had. I think many communities like ours have experienced the same kind of thing. In passing this ordinance, what it does is it clarifies the responsibility, which is a responsibility that we know of, the residents, and the responsibility of the sidewalks. And I apologize for repeating a quote that's been raised up here before, but let's not let perfect be the enemy of good. We could all always do better, but I think that this last storm in particular, we've learned from the previous storm, and it's just been pretty spectacular, albeit, the issue of what happens when plows are going down the street and redepositing snow back in front of people's driveways, which is very difficult to manage. But maybe there are some solutions to that down the road, but I think that this ordinance itself at least clarifies what is required in an attempt to keep things safe.
Very good. Any other comments or questions before we open it to the public?
Yeah.
All right, I will make a motion that we open it up to the public for comment or questions.
Second. Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, 2026-10, questions or comments from the public? Okay, seeing none, just make sure. Seeing none, I will make a motion that we close public comment and adopt 2026-10.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-11, this is an ordinance amending Chapter 398, Streets and Sidewalks, and specifically, this is the one that is prohibiting obstructions on the sidewalks. The reason this particular amendment was created is because somebody positioned a porta potty smack dab in the middle of one of our sidewalks. And code enforcement went to give them a citation, and lo and behold, we didn't have an ordinance addressing porta potties or other obstructions in the middle of the sidewalk. We need to clear the snow, but we didn't address obstructions. So that's what 2026-11 is doing. Any comments or questions from the council?
I think it's also important to note that, as a dog walker, that there's very frequently, I see cars that are parked in their driveway and the trunk of the car are also coming across the sidewalks, sometimes into the driveway with it as well. So that addresses that issue as well.
I mean, it's so obvious I think, to me certainly, and I think to most lay people, we have to have our walkways or sidewalks unobstructed. And some people reference handicapped individuals, some reference dog walkers, elderly, young parents with children, whatever. Bottom line is, this is a public right of way, and we cannot have people cluttering it with any obstacles of any kind. So I think this was just an oversight in the history of Bradley Beach that we weren't clear. But now we will be clear. So if there's no further comments, I'll make a motion that we open up to the public for comments or questions.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Public comments or questions on 2026-11? Okay, seeing none, I'll make a motion we close public comment and approve the adoption of 2026-11.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-12 is an ordinance amending Chapter 365 rental property of the borough's revised general ordinances. This is largely updating the administration of our occupancy tax. We already have in place an occupancy tax, 3% of revenue collected by short-term rental properties, Airbnb, VRBOs, and so forth. What we learned going through for the first year of trying to collect these taxes is that we, the borough, probably needed to add more clarity to landlords, to let them understand, what documentation we can receive in support of their submission of their taxes. The timeframes were not really aligned. The timeframe was that we would collect it by the end of the calendar year. Now we are planning to collect 3 months into the new calendar year, giving folks time to get their records straight and so forth. Also offering them, if you will, an opt-out of submitting all that paperwork, and instead of funding 3% of revenue that they have to document, they have an opt-out where they can fund a flat $500. So that largely this is increasing administrative clarity for landlords. Comments or questions? All right, I will make a motion that we open it up to the public.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Public comments or questions for 2026-12? Okay, seeing none, I will make a motion to close public comment and adopt 2026-12.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. For ordinance 2026-13, I'm going to turn it over to Council President Jane Dillon.
Thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance 2026-13, ordinance amending chapter 425, trees, of the borough's revised general ordinances to enhance the operations and regulations of the borough's Shade Tree Commission. Just to reiterate, this is very similar. This was a request by the Shade Tree Commission. When you have a construction permit, you get a yellow sign to put in your window. So the Shade Tree has something very similar. When you get approved to have a tree removed, you will now get a green sign to put in your window. This way, when the chainsaws start up, not everybody's panicking and calling the Shade Tree Commission and everybody else asking what's going on. So, I think I'll make a motion now to, oh, do you guys have any questions? No? Okay, I'll make a motion that we open it to the public for ordinance 2026-13.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Comments or questions?
Make Linda Duffy?
Ms. Duffy?
I wanted to comment on the last one, but you didn't see my hand. I didn't put it up fast enough.
All right, can you save your comment till the end of the meeting at this point?
Yeah, I can. I just figured this out. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any
Okay.
comments or questions for this?
As there is none, I'd like to close the public comment and approve or adopt ordinance 2026-13.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. All right, that takes us through item 9 on our agenda, ordinances. Item 10 is communications. There are none. Item 11 are resolutions. We'll start with the consent agenda resolutions. Are any of these 4 items, do any council members want to discuss or vote on any of them separately? All right, in that case, I will make a motion to approve consent agenda resolution items 2026-70 through 2026-73.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. Okay, we have 4 individual resolutions, the first being 2026-74, approval of a shared service agreement renewal with Neptune City for summer camp. And this is basically offering the resident rates in Bradley Beach to our summer camp to residents of Neptune City. And we've done this every year for a number of years. Any comments or questions? All right, I'll make a motion that we approve individual resolution 2026-74.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi?
Yes. 2026-75, authorizing award of professional engineering services with CME Associates for promenade soil testing and permitting sub-consultant. Mr. Nowicki, I know you're far, far away, but would you like to briefly comment on this?
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me clearly.
Yes.
And I'm not too delayed. Okay, so basically we're looking to utilize soils excavated out of along Bradley Boulevard from the bulkhead project, and we're going to reuse that material to save $700,000 by reusing that material, not wasting it. But in order to do that, we wanted to have it tested to make sure that there was no contamination in that soil. It's not the soil in the lake, it's the soil along behind the existing wall. And then it is to have environmental borings taken in order to show that the material was suitable to put underneath the promenade. So that's what that is. And we're also engaging a sub-consultant, Marty McHugh, who used to be a Bradley Beach resident. He's been involved very much in the lake projects as well as the promenade. And he's a former deputy commissioner of DEP, Fish and Wildlife. And we're getting some consulting advisory work from him to help guide us through the myriad of permitting issues that were being encountered and moratoriums and restrictions. So he's helping us navigate that directly with DEP and supporting CME as well as the Noel Silver Lake projects. So that's, but again, this is tied directly to the promenade, but it's a promenade project grant because that material being used at the promenade. Otherwise, it would have been shipped away directly. So this is the reason why it's justified to be part of the promenade project.
And this is just one piece of what I would describe as a pretty complex ecosystem of engineering projects around and on Sylvan Lake. Not only the promenade extension, the outfall pipe, there's the bulkhead, there's a number of moving pieces. Councilman Nowicki has been instrumental in guiding the borough through all these projects and making sure we align funding and align engineers. It's a yeoman's effort, Councilman. We all appreciate what you've done to kind of navigate Bradley Beach through the maze. But this is just, and the resolution we'll be talking about next, but this is just one piece of helping us put all the puzzle pieces together. So thank you for your effort on this. Yeah, I was going to say.
So, Paul, I had an opportunity to speak with Councilman Nowicki about this, but I just had one other question. So if this material is suitable and clean, it gets transferred over during the course of the Sylvan Lake Bulkhead project? It gets transferred over to some location along the promenade or along the beachfront area where the promenade is, if it needs to kind of sit there? Because a lot of things have to kind of be aligned in terms of both projects, right?
Right, the timing of those two, first piece is we need a CAPA permit for the promenade extension. That was submitted back in January. We're awaiting that CAPA permit from DEP that will allow us to put material over there as well as actually construct the promenade extension. So that's really the critical piece of this equation. First is to get that CAPA permit, and then they will also give us any restrictions or any necessary, specifically with your stockpile material. You put solar roads and fence around it, you protect it, you put it in an area that, basically they can sit and wait for the use on the promenade construction.
So that could potentially actually be put there during the course of the summer season, right?
Yes. Right now we have a bunch of stockpile materials from the alcohol pipe. We have stockpiled riprap, rock that's piled up out there. That also is going to be used for the promenade extension. So that will be moved over to that promenade extension when that construction gets defined by the DEP, when we can actually do that work.
Thank you.
We have, just so the borough knows, we have residents of the borough. We have fairly significant project work. We have a over $2 million grant to repair, plus money possibly committed by the borough to repair the bulkhead. We have a $4 million grant for the promenade extension. $3 million or so in grants and loans on the outfall pipe. When you add it all up, it's a lot of money, all working towards fixing that broad area, Sylvan Lake's renovation, as well as the promenade, which is a key resiliency point. That is the low point in Bradley Beach for ocean surges. So if we can extend that ocean bulkhead, that'll give us greater safety from flooding. So, but there's so many moving parts, and that's what I alluded to earlier, that Councilman Nowicki is helping us align this. So a simple example of his observations that are guiding us is this particular resolution where we're talking about measuring the sediment in a certain area that we might be able to use for the bulkhead. If we were to cart this sediment away or this soil away, I don't know the exact number, but it might be $100,000, $200,000. Then, if we were not coordinating this, we would have to secure fill for the bulkhead project. That might cost us $100,000 or $200,000. So by this effort, largely led by Mr. Nowicki, might be saving the borough $300,000. And it's the type of thing that a layperson like myself would not have thought of. So, Paul, I cannot thank you enough on behalf of the borough for your leadership in this space. You've been great. Thank you. That said, all the praise aside, where do we stand? Do we need to make a motion to approve 2026-75? No, I'll make that motion. Sean seconded.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Park?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Paul, I'm not buying that you've got it delayed. I think you're falling asleep on us.
And he was just talking.
No, my internet gets spotty, and I keep, you guys go in and out a little bit, and my power draining very rapidly, so.
Hey, you're
Okay.
you're in Mexico. You're entitled to a little siesta. No problem. Okay, item 2026-76, authorizing the chief financial officer to transfer funds to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the Sylvan Lake outfall gate replacement. This could be an hour-long story. Councilman, I'm going to make one more comment, and then I'm going to give you 2 minutes to summarize what this is about. But questions have been raised. This is a lot of money, $700,000. Councilman Nowicki will explain why in a second. But one question asked of us, and we've checked this repeatedly with our CFO, we do not need to do a verification of funds for this particular item. I just want to go on public record confirming that that is not required. Councilman, once again, you want to give us a 2-minute overview of what this is about?
Yes, so this is the gate that controls the water from the lake out to the ocean. There's a structure that failed several years ago that basically controls the water flow. We've spoken about this previously. We've asked the DEP to include this project, the actual gate, into the outfall project, allowing us to take advantage of the existing contract that's out there, minimizing costs, be more efficient by using that contractor to add that work to his contract and do it here in the spring. We'd already passed the ordinance for this, and increasing the dollar value, that $700,000 in an earlier council meeting, and that cost is shared between us and Avon. So it's a $350,000 of actual cost to the borough. $350,000 is actually Avon's commitment. We're sharing that cost 50-50.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the council? All right, I will make a motion that we approve 2026-76.
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Item 2026-77, I'm going to turn over to Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Thank you, Mayor. 2026-277 is ratification of resolution 22671, Darcy's St. Patrick's Day event reschedule approval. This is a ratification to reschedule the event, which this is actually retroactive. They were planning a St. Patrick's Day event this past Sunday, and it was coinciding with St. Patrick's Day Parade in Belmar, which was canceled. And so Darcy's had asked if they can do their event on Saturday, the day prior. And so both Councilman Nowicki and Councilman Karp and I were the three governing body individuals who had approved this. And so this is now just codifying, ratifying that this took place on Saturday, and it was approved by 3 members of council. So I look to approve resolution 2026-277. Second?
Second.
Ms. DeNoble?
I have multiple items that could be perceived as a conflict, and I live within 200 feet, so I'm going to recuse myself.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
I also live within 200 feet, and I will recuse myself. So that motion passes. We will move to item 12, announcements. There are none. Item 13A that we all wait for anxiously every meeting, the business administrator report. Mr. Doherty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to second what Norman expressed earlier. Him and Bob really were fantastic for this last storm. Police department did an exceptional job. Department of Public Works came in. People left vacations early to make sure that they weren't stuck somewhere or caught in traffic getting home. But I would also tell you that a lot of it has to do with the residents themselves. By, moving their cars to one side of the street, by listening to the police department. The police department contacted businesses and asked them to close early, right? All that helped us get the streets clear. So, it truly was a team effort, including the residents themselves. So, I do give kudos to our OEM, our police department, our Department of Public Works, but I think it's also important to recognize the residents themselves that played a major role in ensuring that the town looks so good, 24 or 48 hours after the storm. Also, I want to just, certainly not to correct Councilwoman Greenblatt, but just to amend her statement. The Belmar Lake Como St. Patrick's Day Parade wasn't canceled.
Oh, excuse me.
It has been postponed to Saturday, first time ever. It's going to be on a Saturday, March 28th. So hopefully the mayor and council from Bradley Beach will join us in Belmar for a good parade.
Are we gonna have a float?
Start making one right
Yeah,
now.
start making one now.
Yes.
I have a pickup. We can sit in the back of the pickup truck.
Our DPWs, theirs can run on their.
Yeah.
Their fire department.
Can run on a fire truck. So I just want to give a very quick update as to some of the infrastructure. As Mayor Gubitosi mentioned, Councilman Nowicki is absolutely remarkable when it comes to the engineering aspect to get these projects to where they need to be. Some of the ones that I know are top of mind. The first one is the pump station. It's referred to as 54 Ocean Avenue, even though there is no 54 Ocean Avenue, just who knows. That's not a real address. But they have done all the demolition work inside. They started filling the tanks underground. So we are pushing as hard as possible to meet the mayor's deadline of Memorial Day weekend, at least for the bathrooms to be operable. The weather certainly didn't help, but we think we're on pace to get as close, if not hit that opening date for that. The promenade, the promenade extension, everyone knows about the little more than $4 million grant for that. Department of Public Work, the Department of Environmental Protection is currently reviewing our permit. We're almost done with the design work to actually start to go out to bid. So we're going to go down both paths at the same time. We're not going to wait necessarily for DEP approval. We're going to start the process to go out to bid and get a contractor to extend that promenade. As mentioned before, the gate is moving along well at Sylvan Lake. And those are the real updates, the only main updates I want to give to the council and the residents today regarding some of the infrastructure projects. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Very good, thank you. I must comment, I am continually amazed at your knowledge of Belmar.
Now, I'll be honest with you, and this is tough for a politician, but I'm going to be honest. I make up most of it, but I say it in a convincing way, so it is very believable. Sometimes I use my knuckle to even point.
Except you seem to know a lot more about parades and alcoholic beverages than most politicians.
It's extensive study and training. So.
Well, thank you, sir. That said, we are now at 13B on the agenda, mayor and council reports. We'll start with Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Great. I also just want to point out and make an announcement, unless I'm stepping on your toes,
Go right ahead.
that we now have signs on Main Street that say 25 miles per hour. And so Main Street is officially 25 miles per hour, heretofore.
And the signs are not in the middle of the sidewalk.
The Arts Council met yesterday, March 2nd. Mark your calendar for a music improvisation play shop, Thursday, March 5th, that's this week, 7 to 8 p.m. at the Biazzi Center, led by Arts Council member Abby Khan. The program is a guided and collaborative music-making experience. Instruments will be provided, all levels from little to no experience, welcome. Come join this fun expression of community music making. Doors open at 6:30 and the event is free of charge. Their next meeting is scheduled for Monday, 6:30 p.m. at the Biazzi Center, and the public is welcome. The Fletcher Lake Commission will next be meeting on Thursday, March 12th at 6 p.m. here in this council chamber. There's no current news to report. And I'm going to relieve everyone of all of my recreation events that I always repeat and reference the website. So some upcoming specific events, Radio Bingo, this is for recreation. Radio Bingo runs March 21st, 6 p.m. at the Pioneer Hall, featuring the music of the 90s. Go to the recreation website to purchase tickets for admission. Mark your calendars for the glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt, March 27th, 7 p.m. at the Rec Center baseball field. Rain date is Saturday, March 28th at the same time. The Senior Club is having a makeup meeting this Thursday, March 5th at the Banquet Hall at 12 p.m. And their next meeting is Wednesday, March 25th, noon to 3 at the Piazza Center. Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3, also at the Piazza Center. Bradley Beach and Neptune City have a shared service agreement for recreation. So please check the recreation website for all the programs running and open to Bradley Beach residents. Summer Camp 2026 registration will open on March 16th. Camp runs from June 29th to August 14th. It runs Monday through Friday, 9 to 3 p.m. Be sure to register early as last year's program filled to extended capacity. New this summer, Bradley Beach and Neptune City will host a marine science camp for 1 week this summer, July 27th to the 31st, Monday to Friday, 9 to 2 p.m. for ages 5 to 14. This will take place at Memorial Park in Neptune City. Applications are currently open, and if you visit the recreation page on the borough site, you'll see details and registration information. Once again, construction continues at the rec site with the completion of paperwork. Court striping is planned for the end of winter, as well as an exciting grand reopening of the facility in early spring. There is still limited public access to the facility. The Recreation Committee's next meeting will be Monday, March 9th, 6:30 p.m. at the Neptune City Community Center. That's my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Move to Council President, Ms. DeNoble.
Thank you, Mayor. Tourism has a meeting next week, but the director, Amy Baker, has asked me to remind everybody to mark their calendars for March 14th and 15th is the 8th annual Shamrock Hunt. Shade Tree has a meeting tomorrow. Unfortunately, they do not have a quorum, so Chairperson Noelle Weinberg has postponed the meeting until next week, March 10th. The Board of Ed had a meeting on February 17th. The board approved funding for phase 1 of a new playground project at the school. This will be supported through a combination of local district funds and the District of Community Affairs grant they were awarded last year. This represents an important first step in updating the playground facilities in a responsible and fiscally balanced way. They also recognized and honored Jennifer Haymator, the Governor's Educator Teacher of the Year. They also recognized and honored Nicole Covert, who was the Educational Services Professional of the Year. Also acknowledged was the second marking period high honor student roles, high honor students. It was wonderful to see so many students and families present to celebrate their hard work and academic achievements. And personally, I'd like to thank Alyssa Guzzo. She invited me to the school, and I read aloud to the students today in 2nd grade. And I read a book called My First American Friend, written by Renata Luce, a former Bradley Beach Elementary School student. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. We'll turn to Councilman Clark.
Thank you. So, for the Environmental Commission, we attempted to have a meeting last night, but unfortunately, they had some last minute cancellations, didn't have a quorum, so they're looking to reschedule it for next week. For the Fire Department, for the month ended February 28th, 2026, the Fire Department responded to 12 day calls and 8 9 calls for a total of 20. 7 fire alarm activations, 2 natural gas leaks, 3 burst water pipes, 1 carbon monoxide alarm, 1 elevator rescue, 3 downed or sparking wires, 1 electrical fire, 1 mutual aid assist into Asbury Park, and 1 assist a resident with a ladder. The department conducted one department-wide training and also deployed snowstorm standby crew for 24 hours in conjunction with the Bradley Beach OEM and Bradley Beach EMS. There were no requests for mutual aid from other fire departments. They're still looking for volunteers for the fire department, offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer for the fire department may inquire through the borough's website. For the first aid squad, for the latest operational period ending today, the squad responded to 10 day calls and 6 night calls for a total of 16. The 6 were for medical, 10 were for fire. There were no out-of-town mutual aids requested. The squad requested 1 mutual aid from Asbury Park for a motor vehicle accident. During snowstorm Hernando, when did we start naming snowstorms? The squad collaborated with the fire department, staffed both ambulances with 7 members who answered 10 calls for service, transporting 1 patient to the Jersey Shore Medical Center. And they would love to thank the fire department, police, and the Department of Public Works for their assistance during the storm. Total volunteer hours during the period were 16, and they fulfilled 99% of their assignments for the period. They are also looking for volunteers. They offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone wishing to volunteer for the first aid squad, applications can be found on the borough's website. And also remember, they're still accepting applications to their cadet program for young people 16 to 18 years old who are interested in serving our community.
Thank you, Councilman. Is Councilman Nowicki still with us?
Yes, I am.
Councilman, would you
Sorry,
like
my
to, do
video-
you have a report
My
to?
video's off, my video's off, but that's okay. I'll, quick report on the police department. We all made it, through the snow, and are happy that most of the time adhered to the snow parking ordinance, which made it much easier for our fantastic DPW to clear the streets. Hopefully, we are done with the snow, regarding activity since the last meeting, a local resident was arrested for simple assaults. A Brick Township man was arrested and charged with driving while intoxicated and several other motor vehicle violations following a traffic stop. The stop resulted from speeding as he was well over the new 25-mile-an-hour speed limit that we have now in the street. The Bradley Beach Police Department arrested 3 individuals on active contempt of court warrants and investigated 1 motor vehicle accident between February 16th and March 2nd. Regarding Sylvan Lake, we did have a meeting on the 3rd Wednesday of the month, and it was a productive meeting. We reviewed all the projects, kept everybody informed, and we also had a technical attack meeting with all the consultants and the American Littoral Society at Monmouth University, and looking to see how we are going to be able to advance the sediment removal, i.e. dredging of the lake. And we're looking at ways to fund that and how to move that phase of the project forward. So more to come with that in the future. Meanwhile, that's my report, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilman, and please get back to the golf course as soon as you can. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Okay, my report, it'll be quick. Number one, just so everybody knows, we have a new concessionaire. A bid was just awarded for the 2nd Avenue Grill. More to come on that, but it's a 5-year contract, and it's a couple of residents in town who are very excited about the opportunity. They're going to work with the prior lessee to figure out if they want to do any deals purchasing any of the equipment that's in the 2nd Avenue Grill now. But we went down, myself and Biagio Capone, met with them today, and they're very excited about joining the Bradley Beach community of concessionaires. So looking forward to giving you more of a direct introduction to them once they finalize all their contracting. But they are in fact contracted with us, so we're very pleased to have them join us. I really want to build on what our business administrator, Mr. Doherty, said about the snow, not just the most recent one, but the couple of storms we had in rapid succession. Each one we mentioned is probably the only one we'll have like that in 5 or 10 years. That we had 2 in 2 weeks. And I'm going to start really, Matt, where you left off, saying that our residents made a huge difference in the success of the borough in clearing our streets. It was night and day compared to the 10 or 12 inches of snow we had dumped on us a week or two earlier. And so number one, start with the key to success, and that is our residents. Our residents were great. Now, how did we achieve that? One, we have a lot of really conscientious residents. Two, we did have our police literally going door to door as snow was beginning to fall, knocking on doors. First of all, identifying license plates, figuring out who the owners of various cars were, then knocking on those doors to say, hey, you gotta move your car before you get a fine or perhaps towed. Case in point, it was reported to me after that effort was made by the police, Newark Avenue, which was one of our more challenging streets in the prior snowstorm, had perfect compliance. 0 cars parked on the south side as the snow began to fall. And that is just huge in terms of what that enables our employees, DPW especially, to do. So kudos to the police for doing that early prep, knocking on doors. Kudos also to the police. If you're not signed up for reverse 911s, I really encourage you to do that because, Chief, you guys really stepped up. You've always been great at communicating, but I know you and Captain Terry created new 911 messages, reverse 911s, in the interim period when we're flipping over from phase 1, which is you move your cars off the south side or east side to the north side and the west side. You guys created some new messaging, which I thought was incredibly well done. Just ease of communication. Many residents complimented me. I try to take no credit. You guys do such a great job. And again, you did that totally independent of the rest of us. So I think that messaging, not only the early, but then the moving from phase 1 to phase 2, really gave our residents the guidance they needed to comply with what are really challenging regulations, no question. Also want to mention, folks probably understand this, but to the extent you're not aware, snow like we've had over these last couple of occurrences, we have employees that are working 24 to 35 to 40 hours straight, nonstop. I mean, we're bringing food donations to DPW, and DPW sharing that food with other first responders, OEM, and our police, of course. But they are working through the night in many instances. And, there are folks who say to me, well, that's their job. Well, yeah, it is their job. But the amount of commitment that is given to these jobs is really noteworthy. We do have a couple folks, 2 storms ago, 1 or 2 that I'm aware of this storm, that actually surrendered vacation time to make sure they could be here to help their colleagues moving the snow and getting this all done. I mentioned OEM, police, DPW. I want to put in a plug for our Director of Communications, Amy Baker, who's often involved in helping us with a lot of the communications as well. And I want to also mention that our own Pat Allen, this particular storm, was out with one of our smaller, I don't know the names of the vehicles, but what is it, the Kudobi or what's
Bobcat?
Well, Bobcat basically. Clearing corner areas where, we've had a lot of pushback from the community, corner lots that have ADA ramps. Pat Allen was out doing his best to clear as many of those as he could with a small equipment Bobcat. So Pat Allen and others were also helping our police dig out a few cars that needed to be towed. One, I think, was sitting basically in the middle of Brimley Avenue. And we did actually have to tow 5 cars, but tow companies will not take a car if it's buried in snow. DPW coordinated with our police. DPW dug the car out sufficiently that tow company could get in, and our police supervised the removal of those 5 cars. So it's a massive effort, and I say this because there are people regularly who say, give this more thought. How can we do this better? And I'm in the middle of the thought process. Number one, our professionals have this pretty much down to a science already. And I do my best to add 2 cents here or there. But I don't know that there is much more thought that can be given to it. I beg people to come to us, bring us your new ideas. What can we do better? And we did tweak it. We did get police knocking on doors. We had police with loudspeakers telling people to move. We added some new messages. So can we improve? Sure. Did we improve? I think we did, and I think our residents did. But the folks who say give it more thought, please help us, because we've given it as much thought as I think is humanly possible. And by the way, everything I hear about neighboring towns is Bradley Beach has shined in the results we've delivered compared to some of the neighboring towns. I won't mention any folks here might have been former mayors. And my understanding is, that's right, Mr. Doherty. But my understanding is Bradley Beach has shown in comparison to many other neighboring towns. So thank you again to all of our employees. Finally, my comment is there are folks who from time to time say we value our employees over our residents. I'm going to point everybody to the sign that Bradley Beach proudly serves our residents. Our employees serve our residents. So anyone who says we value employees over our residents, it confuses me to hear that statement. Because yes, we value our employees because they serve our residents. And you know, there are going to be folks here, out in the world around us that might disagree with that. But I just want to make sure that I'm clear in saying that our employees are the backbone of Bradley Beach, and I think they do. Do we all make errors from time to time? Absolutely, but I think our employees do a phenomenal job overall. With that, I will close my comments, and I will, yes.
If I could add on to yours, because I agree with you. One thing I did forget, you know, and it's easy to see the phenomenal work the police department does and the Department of Public Works. But I would also tell you, on the Friday before the storm came, I instructed the office workers to take their laptops home, to be prepared to work on Monday and Tuesday, because I didn't know if the office was going to be open. And Michelle Wiley coordinated that effort. So even though the offices were closed, to the mayor's point, the employees were still serving the residents, working at home, bringing home work to process payments, to process time cards, payroll, construction documents. It was still getting done. So even though kids may have had off from school, while employees were at home, they were still working.
Thank you. So with that said, we will conclude the mayor and council reports, and I will open it up to public comment, questions about any topic on your mind. Are there public comments, questions? Yes, sir. Mr. West.
Good evening, Bob West, YBT Newark Avenue. In regards to your ordinance introduction, 2026-17, spending undersized lots. Whereas the language that you said sounds beautiful and sounds very helpful and nice for the residents, right? So as an owner of an undersized lot and somebody who has been through the process and was a victim of variance application stuff, the way you're describing it is almost impossible. If you have an undersized lot and you have a house that is within 5 feet of your setbacks and you want to extend it, whereas you might be like volumetrically or what have you still not passing this level, coverage comes into an issue because you're almost over your coverage before you even begin, percentage-wise.
I mean, you might be, but there are lots. The case in point that I referenced, they were able to expand, but we had language saying you can't expand.
Right, okay.
You can conceivably have a one-story house that uses the same exact footprint and becomes a two-story house.
All right, I just want you to know that, like I said, when you have small property,
No, you're right.
Yep.
you're saying that, just keep that in the calculations in mind, that sometimes it's not setback, it's coverage, permeable surface that becomes a real problem. You want to extend. I moved out 7 feet off the side of my house. I still have about 12 feet of lawns on my side lawn, but by percentage-wise, I went over 2% on my coverage and had to go through this onerous process that I'm still finishing up. It's about 1.5 years. I So if you have to complete it 100%, because of this 2% coverage issue.
I 100% agree with you. There are, the larger your lot, you talk to folks in other towns that live on 3 acres, I mean, they can do a lot more on their property than we can. And the smaller the lot goes, the less room you have, no question. But you may not realize this, but a few years ago, you and anyone else on an undersized lot, you were deemed non-conforming, and anything you wanted to do, you needed a variance. Now, if you can do work, renovation type work, and not create a new variance, you can do that and not have to go to land use board. That was the big accomplishment that we were trying to protect tonight. But to your point, we did not reduce setbacks or impervious coverage or any other regulations.
It's that coverage calculation that really becomes a problem sometimes when you want to build a little bit. Not even so much setback. I still have setback. I'm in compliance with setback, with coverage at 2% causes this whole problem.
Thank you for your. Ms. Meadow, did you have a comment?
I did, but I was letting others speak.
Okay. Do you want me to recognize you?
I'll wait.
Okay. Rick?
Rick Bartolome, 116 North. Just regarding the blockage of the sidewalks, does that also apply to like hedges that are obstructing the sidewalk? Various objects out there that, so I'm hoping that that's all going to be thought of when everybody walks around and looks at these issues.
Two separate things. The sidewalks are not, this ordinance did not address the planting strips, but the sidewalks, it includes everything, hedges, whatever. If something's overgrowing onto the sidewalk, it has to get trimmed back. Planting strips are different. We do have restrictions on planting strips. Some things are grandfathered.
That's all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Peter Sharp, 301 Second Avenue. Let's see, on the topic of the real executive order that's being imposed on the shore communities, I guess a meeting or two ago, there was some talk about formulating a resolution that could be sent to Trenton to describe the economic impact that this would have on shore communities and the large volume of work that it would impose on some committees here in town. Didn't hear anything tonight. I was just curious to see where things stood with that.
Great question. I did announce that a few meetings back because I wanted to let folks know it's on our radar. As a result of my announcement of that, our own Bradley Beach Environmental Commission came to us and said, hey, can you give us time to evaluate and to make recommendations to the council? So we decided to push, right now the plan is to have that a resolution created by our next meeting, which would be March 17th. That's the plan. It's not set in stone yet. We have to see how it evolves. We are having regular conversations. Just had one a couple days ago with the heads of the New Jersey DEP. I'm talking to other mayors. We're talking to other, we're talking to the League of Municipalities. So there's a lot of activity afoot. But we really want to get it right as we make formal recommendations back to the DEP and to our legislators. I guess what's most important is, I really applaud you asking this question because REAL, R-E-A-L, I encourage anyone who lives in Bradley to at least start to read up on this, Google search it, ask questions about it through AI, because there really could be significant implications for shore communities throughout New Jersey. We don't know for sure, no guarantee, but we expect to, we're hopeful to address it in our next meeting on the 17th.
One further comment then. I know time is short for this because the time frame for this is very tight. I know there's probably a lot of thinking that's going into the environmental/climate aspects of this. That may take a while. Another avenue would be just to recognize the fact that this presents a brick ton of work for the land use board to comply with this in such a short amount of time. That alone by itself could be cause for pushback in a more timely basis. just throw that out there. I attended a very good land use board meeting. They discussed this at length, a lot of the pros and cons, and attempted to pass their own resolution on this. I think it got hung up because a lot of the members were conflating the environmental climate impacts versus the actual practical matters. I think either one serves as a basis for pushback. Unfortunately, because of that conflating, the resolution didn't get passed. I hope we can proceed on that basis if things proceed slowly as we move forward. So,
Thank you
Thank you
very much for your comments. Yes, Ms. Davidson?
Tracy Davidson, 444. I'm just here on behalf of two of the nonprofit organizations in town. The first is the Bradley Beach Education Foundation. We are having once again our third annual foundation scholarship. It is a $500 award for a graduating high school senior who graduated from Bradley Beach Elementary School, so that would have been in 2022. I have emailed all of the sending district high schools the applications. You can also pick up the application at the library. I'm hoping you can put a few in the Borough Hall, just if they want hard copies. The scholarship is open whether you're going to college or a 2-year college, a trade school, a personal training, a professional training program. So it's pretty wide net there. So we encourage anybody, parents out there, to encourage their students, and if you know anybody, neighbors or friends, please encourage them to apply. The other organizations I'm representing is Friends of the Bradley Beach Library. On Thursday the 5th, they are sponsoring a dining out to support a dining to donate fundraiser at Applebee's. You can go for lunch or dinner. And they will donate 10% of your bill to the Friends of the Library. There is a flyer you must bring. They did not give us any kind of link to the flyer because they want us to donate, but they are making it difficult. So you can pick up a flyer. I believe it's in Borough Hall here or at the library. You must bring the flyer. You can't show your phone. But we will appreciate that support. I don't think people realize how much money the Friends of the Library gives to the library for their funding. Almost everything for the 250th that you've seen, probably you've probably got an expansive list this time of things that they are sponsoring. We sponsor all of it. We give $300 scholarships to graduating 8th graders. We are doing this year for the first time Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, where from birth to age 5, children will get a book. I think it's like monthly. We are sponsoring that as well. So we do give a lot. I know we fundraise a lot, but sometimes I think people don't realize that where that money goes to, and we are funding a lot in the library. So if you can, come out and go to Applebee's. It's, there's lots of things on the menu you can get. It's not too bad. But thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Beto.
Nancy Meadow, Ocean Park Condominiums. This is in absolutely no order. I failed to say, and I realize you took the vote regarding the snow and getting replowed in and everything else. The reason my snow remover comes as soon as the snow starts is because there are 3 essential workers there. There's a nurse who has to get to Jersey Shore, a teacher, and someone from JCP and out. And we have to get out. So to get plowed back in really kind of makes life a challenge. And regarding anyone, I'm your anyone, I know that. I own up to it.
You're one of the many.
Well, I'm claiming me, don't speak for others. I've said over the years, and I'm going back to the Engelstad administration, that your service does not end at our borders. It extends through the county, through the state, to DC. So I bring that up because McCabe lost power during the last storm. Luckily, I didn't. But then I lost power because they had to cut my power in order to repair, JCP&L, let me be specific, had to cut my power in order to repair McCabe. That's life. That happens. Everyone needed their power to be repaired. However, the fact that JCP&L would tell us at 1:30 in the afternoon that we'd be repaired by 11 p.m., when in fact, one of us drove to the JCP&L offices and then got the truth, which is that we would be repaired in a few hours. So my request is that with all of us and all of our connections, somebody needs to reach out to JCP&L and at least voice that we would like some accuracy and just not an arbitrary answer. That being said, you brought it up. Shame on you. 54 Ocean Avenue. What does it entail to rename it? I'll be simple, 954. What are the procedures? What does it entail? How long have I been saying this? These wonderful employees that we have, could we get an answer and then perhaps consider renaming it? Because at some point, equipment's going to go there. How are they going to find building 54? Just saying, like, of all the little things in life, can we fix some of them? If we can't alphabetize the website, can we give it to Mrs. Pingatore's third grade class and have them alphabetizing things so we can find things? Can we communicate that the governor put us under a state of emergency when it happens? That's a big and difficult thing to fix, but bite by bite, step by step, can enhance our situations here. And I am thrilled to say, kind of sticks in my throat, that given that the police department finally addressed cars during alternate side of the street parking, after how many years? Perhaps all these other things that are not being addressed there can be addressed. Because they've now proven that they can address things. And we don't need new ordinances. You didn't even clarify moving a car. They just did what they're supposed to do. And that makes me have confidence that they could do more of what they're supposed to do. And, glad you reminded people to bring home their laptops. Should be standard operating procedure, because they're getting paid for the day. So I've been in those situations, and, maybe all of that needs to be tightened up as to our expectations. Because we are in a vulnerable longitude and latitude. We are going to always have climate emergencies. And it would be nice if they weren't like panicky, you just knew what to do. So that's it. Have a nice evening.
Thank you for your comments. Other comments or questions from this group? How about Zoom? Any comments or questions on Zoom? Did we lose them there? All right, well, seeing no other comments or questions, I will make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
There's so many elements. So many elements.
Because she picked them.
We're in private, I tell you.
Yeah, seriously.
But when you saw the final one, they'll come make an application.
Do you need to send me their bid packet? Okay.
You're in the low list of stuff.
Figured this might be in advance.
So we're,
Thank you. That's good, 'cause I don't have a poker face either.
Hey, Bob. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for everything. Appreciate the updates.
That was my next question, was, I've got some feedback from our environmental, skip this stuff.
Dude, how about
They
that?
wanted
Good sport.
to put out
You know about that, right?
businesses.
We know you were
starting
going
Yeah, I was wondering, they just sent out something for a weekend.